Saludos. I am Doctora Rocio Rosales Meza. I am a seer, I am a medicine woman, and I am a counseling psychology PhD, though I am not a licensed psychologist. While I have thousands of hours in training as a psychologist and seeing clients facilitating their healing, my path is a traditional one. I am initiated as a medicine woman by Marilushin, a beloved sister and teacher, and also on the New Tapaco path in the Quero Inca lineage in an apprenticeship with Don Alejandro Apasa. I am here to share with you the work that I believe needs to get us to a better world, a more just world, a more caring world, to the new earth. My work is both decolonial and spiritual. It is about facing the ways that we have been programmed, indoctrinated by the colonial paradigm, by an oppressive system to uphold the oppressive system. It is about the ways that we have learned and internalized how to oppress each other. I think this work is absolutely needed in the spiritual world, in the spiritual fields. In the spiritual fields, we understand that we need to come together. We understand that this is a prophetic time. We understand that this is a time where a portal is open to be able to expand our consciousness and to be able to move into a higher timeline. And also in the spiritual field, we see a lot of spiritual bypassing. We see a lot of spiritual bypassing, especially with white people. Those that do not see the ways that perhaps their spirituality ignores collective pain, how their spirituality bypasses collective harm. We also see white spiritual healers and teachers not acknowledging the ways that they themselves perpetuate these harmful ways. And so I call my work decolonial shadow work. If we are to get to a better world, we need to face the ways that we ourselves are upholding and colluding with an oppressive paradigm. And that is particularly important for white folks to acknowledge. It is white people in this current system that benefit the most, even while we are all human, even while we are all one. That is not the current reality. There is an injustice that exists and that disproportionately impacts Black, Indigenous people of color. They are the most marginalized. And so as spiritual people, we understand that we are all one. We understand that a unity consciousness is important if we are to get to the highest timeline, if we are to birth the new earth. And yet we also need to understand that that needs to happen in right relation. That needs to happen, especially for white people, through their reckoning in the ways that they have been programmed, through reckoning in the ways that they have benefited as a white person through this unjust system. And so I am aware that white folks that have done their anti-racism work can hear the things that I am sharing. And I am aware that white people that have not done their anti-racism work may hear what I'm saying and may feel some discomfort, may even disagree with what I'm saying. And so I want to call you in and share that I acknowledge that these are difficult truths to face. I share this in compassion. I don't say this to cause division. I am merely illuminating the division that is already here, the division that I believe we have incarnated to dismantle. I believe our soul was born at this exact time to dismantle this oppressive paradigm. I believe that we have made some headway through the civil rights movement, through the anti-racism movement, and now we are called to show up in a different way. We are called to show up higher in right relation and integrity. And so perhaps if you are a white person and you are listening and you are feeling some shame, you are feeling discomfort, you are feeling guilt in what I am sharing with you, I invite you into feeling into those emotions rather than personalizing them, rather than viewing them as an attack. I invite you into asking and tuning into these emotions as teachers. And what I share with my white students is what does this have to teach you? What do these emotions have to teach you about the ways that you are out of alignment, about the ways that you are out of integrity with humanity? Again, I don't say these things to shame you, though you may feel some shame. I don't say these things to guilt you, though you may feel some guilt. I share these words in love. I share this work as a decolonial teacher and also as a medicine woman that took a vow with the Quero Inca lineage to restore harmony and balance. And to be able to restore that harmony and balance, I believe we do need to do the work of reckoning. I do believe white people need to do their work, decolonial shadow work. And so, what I am speaking about when I speak of the oppressive system, when I speak of the colonial paradigm, I am really speaking about colonization. I believe we are the generation to finally end colonization. And if you resonate with that, then you are aligned with decolonial work. I believe decolonial work is our sacred responsibility, especially for white people. There was a time that you existed pre-colonial times. You too are peoples of the earth, and yet the majority of white people do not treat Black, Indigenous people of color as relatives, do not treat the land that they are on as a relative, as our mother. And so I am really calling you in to understand how colonization is not just a thing of the past, is not just our history, it is current. Indigenous peoples know that colonization never ended. And when I speak of colonization, it is not just the taking of lands, the taking of peoples, enslaving peoples, genocide, and rape. I am also speaking of the programming and the indoctrination. I am speaking about the paradigm, the mentality, the colonial mind that we have all been indoctrinated into. And that white people specifically, because of their white privilege, cause the most harm. And so again, I invite you here to take a deep breath and a deep exhale. I'm aware that my work asks you to confront a very violent history, a very violent existence. I also invite you into seeing how colonization is insidious. It is subtle. It is the ways that we have been taught to believe that the Western ways are more superior. The Western ways of teaching, the Western knowledge, Western medicine, right? Western ways of thinking and doing and showing up in the world are more superior than indigenous ways, than African ways, than the ways of Black, Indigenous people of color. And so when I speak of colonization as a paradigm and as a mentality, that is what I'm speaking of. I call my work decolonial shadow work because these are the ways that we do not, especially for white people, the ways that they don't want to accept, the ways that they prefer to neglect, the ways that they prefer to keep hidden, right? How is it that I can be a quote unquote good white person or a spiritual person or progressive and liberal, empathic, and yet I show up as a colonizer? I show up engaging in colonial ways. I am aware that that is a difficult truth to face. And so these are the colonial shadows that I believe, I deeply know we need to face, that we need to reckon with if we are going to get to unity consciousness, if we are going to get to a place where we are all one. We first need to shed this programming. We need to dismantle our inner colonizer. And I especially share that with the white European folks that are here. I share this in love. I don't share this to shame you, to cause division. I am merely illuminating the division that is already here. And so I call you not to perfection, I call you higher. I call you to integrity. And so I invite you here to begin to accept and to begin to see perhaps the ways that you are unconsciously colluding with a colonial system, the ways that you are unconsciously upholding a colonial system. What are the ways that maybe I perhaps am showing up in a colonial way in my life, in my relationships? What I know in doing decolonial work is that many Black, Indigenous people of color come to me and share with me that their spiritual teachers, their white spiritual teachers, their white healers cause them a lot of harm, even while they are spiritual, even while they are good white anti-racist people. And so that reveals that there is something deeper, right? And so I share this in love to the white people that are here, that you too have been programmed, you too have been bamboozled. And I have deep respect for the white people that are willing to face those colonial shadows, that perhaps have been doing their anti-racism work, have been doing the spiritual work to get us to unity consciousness, but they feel that something has been missing. They are attuned to maybe the ways that we are still programmed. Perhaps it has been showing up as anxiety. Perhaps it has been showing up as dense energy. Perhaps they have become aware that there is something that they are doing that is contributing to the harm, to the collective pain of the world. And so those people, I call you in and I call you higher. I don't expect perfection. I am calling you into your integrity. I am calling you into right relationship. We don't need saviorism. We need right relationship with the land, with Indigenous peoples, to be able to face the ways that colonization, the colonial paradigm, has caused harm. We don't need performative activism, we need embodiment. And so here I call you in to recognize the ways that you have been programmed, I call you in to recognize the imprints, colonial imprints that perhaps you carry, the ways that perhaps you are colluding with your colonial ancestors. And so it is energetic work to clear those imprints. It is ancestral work to be able to set boundaries with your colonial ancestors, to begin to connect to your pre-colonial ancestors that I believe have prayed for you. Someone in their lineage that had the courage to do this work, to do the decolonial work. And here I'm speaking to everyone listening that have the courage to unlearn, that have the courage to deprogram, that have the courage to heal from the ways that we have been taught to show up in competition, to show up in ways that judge others, in superiority. I am calling you in to unlearn and to heal and to deprogram, to get us to restore the times of harmony and balance. And so for those that are willing to do that work, I also call all of us to make space for that healing. That for those that do choose to do their decolonial shadow work, that do choose to look at and do their inner work to heal, I call us into creating space for their healing. It does us no good to continue to beat up white people. The goal is not to oppress white people. The goal is for all of us to unlearn, to deprogram, to decolonize, and to indigenize, to return to our sacred ways, to return to harmony and balance. And so here I call in compassion, I call in courage for those that were able to receive this medicine, who are able to receive this message. I share this in deep love, knowing that we can get to unity consciousness, that we are all one, but that we need to unlearn the ways that we have been programmed to teach each other to show up as divided, to show up as fragmented. My work is really about calling back your spirit from the white colonial capitalist patriarchy to restore harmony and balance. I invite you to receive these words in both compassion and encourage, knowing that you are strong enough to receive them, knowing that you have been prayed for by your lineage to have the courage to do this work, and knowing that your soul is equipped for these times. We are here at a prophetic time. The prophecies are here. And now it is up to us to do our inner work, to be able to be clear vessels, to access the highest timelines, to birth the new earth. I thank you for receiving. I call you in to do this work. I love you. I honor you. I appreciate you. May we heal together and get free.